So for now, how do you want
So thank you so much. We're here on our second session today of our fourth annual career fair. Rebecca and Brittany, thank you both so much for being here to share with us what it takes to be a librarian. So I want to just go ahead and hand it over to you both so you can get the most of our time. So thank you so much, and the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Rebecca, would you like to start?
I'll let you.
Okay. So you want to be a librarian. Hi, my name is Brittany. I am the Teen and New Adult Services Coordinator for Fresno County Public Library. And we also have Rebecca Deniston, who is the Teen and New Adult Services Librarian for the Fresno County Public Library. So our main jobs are planning programs and services for all of Fresno County. That includes everywhere from Shaver Lake and Big Creek all the way over to Orange Cove, all the way to Mendota and Kerman. Fresno County is a very, very large county, so it's not just Fresno, Clovis area. Okay, let me move on to the next slide. Have you ever considered becoming a librarian? Rebecca?
Becoming a librarian typically requires 6 years of higher education. So it is important to make sure that's what you really want to do before you embark on the process.
Okay, so there are many positions at the library. Usually the people you see in the library are not actually librarians. If you call them a librarian, they're not offended. Not offended at all. Most of the people that you'll see in the library are actually library aides, library assistants, and their main tasks are to shelf books, also to help the public and assist them with those daily tasks throughout the day, whether that's computer help, finding a book, researching something for them, or finding them the latest video game that's out. And in addition to that, we have senior library assistants, supervising library assistants, librarians, and supervising librarians. And each library system is a little different. So here in Fresno County, we have sets of librarians. So we have 6 different clusters that the county librarians are separated into. So we have 35 branches, and each of those branches is separated into 6 different clusters is what we call them. And so there's a head children's librarian, head teen librarian, and head adult librarian who plan services and programs for that area. And then Rebecca and I, we plan on a larger scale. So like things like our summer reading and different things like that. And then there's also a ton of other people that work at the library as well. We have an accounting department, we have a purchasing department, a business department, we have graphic designers, we also have people that work on social media and our press. And so it's not just the librarians who work at the library. Rebecca?
So the simplified steps to becoming a librarian is, of course, you have to get your GED or high school diploma. After that, you get your bachelor's degree, and you can get it in any subject. Starting at City College is a great and affordable place to start. And you really can't, if you want to, you can get a more specialized degree that's going to help you. You can get your degree in management if you're looking towards, becoming a supervisor, or literature if you are interested in that. But your bachelor's degree, it doesn't matter what you get it in. And then you have to do your master's, your MLIS, which is a Master of Library and Information Science. Most programs right now are online. There are a few in person, but doing online is a great option because you can do it at your own pace. Typically takes 2 years, but you can take longer. Or if you've got the time and the drive, you can do it faster. But doing it online is a really great option because you can do it on your time.
Yep, there we go. And I know it seems like this is a lot, and it is, but if it's something you're really interested in doing, it's definitely worth it. I will say I went and got my bachelor's degree. I didn't know what I wanted to do after that. I just sort of knew like I should get my master's. Didn't know what to do. Someone mentioned librarians, and I was like, yes, that is, yes. I've grown up in libraries my whole life. I love reading, but I will tell you, reading is shouldn't be your main motivator to become a librarian, because it is great. We do not have time to read, unfortunately, not as much time as we'd like. And so there's a lot more when it comes to being a librarian, in particular, like Rebecca and I are public service librarians.
And I'll add a little side note too. I went about my degree very differently than Brittany. Honestly, I got, 3 years in, and then I got a good job and I just quit school, and I didn't go back until I actually started at the library 6 years ago and as an aide. And after my first week, I was like, I want to be a librarian. And I was kind of mad at myself for not realizing that sooner. So I honestly just this December finished with my master's, and I'm a brand new baby librarian, actually. So it took a few years.
Yeah. Yay! And then, so there's several different types of librarians. We have school librarians, public librarians, which is what Rebecca and I are, academic librarians, and then special collections librarians. So school, that might be someone you're familiar with now. They usually do K through 12th grade. School, usually, right now, there's a librarian either in middle school or high school, and then they help the library assistants or library aides for the elementary school libraries. Ideally, we'd like a librarian in every school, but as things work out. And then public libraries, so that's usually county or city libraries. Sometimes there's a county and a city library, so they decide to run their own libraries. We are a county library, so that means we are government funded. We are part of the county. We are a government, Rebecca?
Government employees.
Thank you. But I would say we're the nicest employees in the government. Because like our whole thing is we just want to give you free stuff. We want you to come to the library. We want you to be able to benefit from the library, what we have to offer. And it's not just physical items you can check out. There's so much more. We have a ton of different programs where you can learn different things. We also do a ton of other things, like we give away free prom dresses every spring. We also do different things like graphic design. There's a lot that the public libraries do. And then there's academic libraries. So those are like college or university libraries. Those are very specific. Usually they'll have like a small collection of books to read for pleasure. And then a lot of that is just research and academic based. And then special collections are really cool. Sometimes you'll need extra certifications for those. These are librarians that work in museums, universities, art galleries, archives. They're working with special materials, whether that's preserving letters and photographs from the past, rare books, or even modern day digital collections, and organizing those. Rebecca?
There are some common misconceptions about librarians. One that Brittany mentioned earlier, that we spend all day reading. because I've gotten that a lot. It's like, oh, it must be nice to just be able to read all day. We don't read. We're way too busy to be reading. It's also not common anymore that libraries are quiet places. It's loud. We have programs. We've got people needing computer help. It's not a quiet place to go to study. We do have quiet rooms, but the library overall is not a quiet place. We don't shush our patrons. I only ever once shushed somebody, and it was when I was an aide, and he was actually a the president of our local Friends of the Library, because he was getting too loud. It's the only time I've ever shushed anyone. And another common misconception is that a librarian is a low-stress job. It is such a fun job. I love my job. I love getting up every single morning and going to work. But to say that it is a low-stress career is terribly wrong. It's stressful, but it's a good stress. And you feel good because you go home every day and you've helped somebody.
I definitely agree, Rebecca. Now, not to say that we can't spend all day reading, but we do love reading for the most part. Or whether it's listening to audiobooks and different things. And yes, low stress job, I'd say it kind of fluctuates for me. Like I'll have like, this is wonderful, super easy. And then you get to that peak of like, oh, I've got to plan everything again. But it's a wonderful job. I really do enjoy it. So what's it like to be a public librarian? Depends on where in the library you want to work. So we have our branch librarian. So I started out as a library assistant. Excuse me. And then I moved on to become a branch librarian once I went to school. I went to school while I was working. So a lot of what we do in the branch is we are working with our service group. So I was a teen services librarian. So my main job was bringing in teens to the library and giving them programs and opportunities to utilize the library, enjoy the library, and stay for a while. And so I would plan different programs and activities for them. I also went through our book collection and made sure that there were books that were interesting to them. Manga and graphic novels is a huge draw for a lot of teens. So I made sure I expanded our collection. And then we also help with the public, whether that's specifically teens, but all age ranges as well. We do desk time where we help with research questions, finding a book, getting on the computer, resume help. It can change daily. It's never the same every day. So it's not a boring job. You honestly don't know what to expect every day. Good, mostly. And then programming librarian, Rebecca, do you want to talk about that?
So as programming librarians, we deal with programs for the entire county. So branch librarians specifically work in their branches, but we plan things for the entire county. So for like example, we're in the middle of summer right now, summer at your library. So all of the programs and crafts that we are preparing right now will go to every single branch in the county. So it makes it very different than what the branch librarians do. So we have specific programs that we do every year. Summer at your library being our biggest. We also do the prom drive, which Brittany mentioned. We just did that for the third year, where we collect donations from the community. And then we have one day where we shut down a regional library and kids from all over the county can come and get prom wear for free. We are finishing up Walk to Mordor, which is a program where you walk and win prizes and buttons and things like that. Next month is National Poetry Month, where we have a poetry contest. So all the planning for all of those programs we do, and then we, disperse it through the rest of the branches.
Yes. So we do like programming as a whole and trying to cover services for our entire community as a whole, where our branch specific librarians get to know their community better because they are on the ground, they're in those branches. And so they're able to do more targeted programming and services for their age group. And then there's collection development. If you like numbers, if you like data-driven things, collection development is a great place for you. They research and select books, movies, music, magazines, video games, audiobooks, digital services, and then make those purchase them and make them available for the public to use. It is really a numbers kind of job. I personally do not like it. I did a stint over there in collection development, and I like working with the public. It's a quieter job, I'd say, as well. Wouldn't you agree, Rebecca? It's more one-on-one. And but if that's you and you don't like working with as many people or working with the public, it's a great place to be. I will say another misconception is librarians are all introverts. Somewhat, I will say I'm an introvert, but when it comes to my job, I have to be an extrovert, and so I'm very much need to be outgoing, willing to talk to lots of people. Rebecca, you want to talk about our e-services or our digital librarian?
So the e-services librarian is a specialized niche. They work in data collections, website management, and managing our database, which is, it's called Horizon, but it's what we use to check out books, put books on hold, and all that. And then our patrons can look books up there. So they deal with issues that come up with there. They're in charge of getting stats, running numbers. Once again, it's another one of those where it's mostly a computer job, looking at desk. You're at your desk and you're looking at numbers and you're dealing with problems with accounts and things like that all day.
And lastly, we have administration. So we kind of lump them all together. That's our supervisors, our principal librarians, which are sort of the managers over the supervisors, and then our county librarian, which is like the head librarian over, again, all of the entire system of libraries. And these admin, their main job is to assess community needs and then implement those changes in the library to fulfill those needs. So a lot of what we plan, whether it's in the branches or us as programming librarians, or even the data we collect or what services and books we may buy, are all inspired or by what the admin determines is important and is what we should be driving towards and what our community needs. Anything to add, Rebecca? Do you want to talk about our pop culture librarian?
I'll let you do that because this was your idea to add to the slides.
Okay, so you may be familiar with Michael Threets. If not, I really encourage you to look him up on Instagram or look him up on TikTok. He's been in the news lately. Michael Threets is a librarian. He is a children's librarian. He used to work for Solano County Library, which is in California. He is a children's librarian. He's also a huge mental health advocate. He talks about his own mental health struggles, as well as encourages, just gives really encouraging messages. And he recently left his job at the Solano County Public Library, just to really assess his own mental health and for his own reasons. He does a ton of TikTok with the library, and he still does them. But now PBS has contacted him. He will be their resident librarian as well. and he's wonderful. He is a delight to watch. He's got a really cool entire sleeve of reading advisory. So whether that's what does he have on there? Where the Wild Things Are, Arthur Reed. There's just a ton of different things. I definitely encourage you to check him out.
He's got a lot of Richard Scarry tattoos too. Amazing.
And he's got some more on the other side as well. You just can't see him yet. But yeah, he's wonderful. He's just one of the librarians. There's also Catwoman, or if you're familiar with like The Mummy, there's a librarian there. There's librarians throughout history, but I would say a lot of the librarians that are portrayed in popular culture aren't really indicative of what we really are. And Michael Threets really does show what librarians are now and what libraries are now as well. Just like, we're community spaces. We're spaces for people to come to visit, to learn, to really do more than just check out a book. Rebecca, do you want to do a quick little thing on library cards?
Yes. We have just a quick little, a variety of ways you can use your library card because it is important. It's an important tool that you can use as you're finishing school, starting your job search, going to college, whatever. There's a lot of ways that you can use your library card other than just checking out a book. You can use it to check out books. We have books, we have ebooks, audiobooks, video games, CDs, movies, magazines, and more. All of those are physical things that you can actually come to your library and check out. We also have a variety of programs. Like we were saying, each library branch has its own set of programs, and in addition to the countywide programs. Some of the teen and we actually have new adult now programs, but we do graphic design. Last summer we had a design your own tote bag, so the kids could make their design on an iPad, and then we transferred that over to a tote bag. It was super, super popular, and the teens had so much fun. We also have a video making, the pop-up prompt shop that we talked about, Take and Make Crafts, where you can just come into the library and grab a bag, and it's got everything you need to make a craft. Some of our branches do board games. Dungeons and Dragons is super popular. We do have Switch gaming, teen councils where you can earn volunteer hours, because a lot of times teens are really looking for volunteer hours for college applications or for whatever scholarships. A lot of them require volunteer hours, and there's so much more. Like I said, we have a lot of academic help. We have research, like Gail. Databases that you can use to do research, peer-reviewed articles. It's all available for free with your library card. And we also have streaming services, Canopy, you can stream movies, Freegal, you can stream music. We just have a variety of things.
Sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, so you get your library card. You have to renew it every 5 years. If you lose a card, we can replace it. And you can use your library card your entire life. And everything is free at the library. Okay. Oh, so here are some of the databases.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay. That's fine. So these are the databases. We have all of these are free, like I said, with your library card. Learning Express, you can practice for your SAT, ACT, AP tests. Peterson Test Prep also helps with the test prep. Help Now is free online tutoring, which I actually accessed when I was getting my master's. I was having a hard time with one of my assignments. And like I said, the Freegal Canopy and Libby, which we have ebooks and audiobooks. But there's a lot of free online resources through the library to help students.
I'd like to add too, for Learning Express and Peterson Test Prep, those are really wonderful if you are having to prep for your PSATs, your SATs. They also offer different things, like you can check out different colleges or universities to see if they have what major you like, as well as tuition assistance and scholarships. And there's also things as you get older for resume building and career tests as well. So if you want to become a firefighter, there's firefighter tests, or nursing, there's NCLEX on there and different things like that.
I think that's it.
Okay, and I think that's all for us.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I feel like I learned a lot about what it means to be a librarian, which is really cool. And I love that you both addressed all the kind of stereotypes per se, because that's really cool. It seems like I don't know, it's just like a one-stop shop for everything. Any resource, especially this day and age, it's incredible. So I just wanted to quickly open the floor to some questions that for you both that maybe we can get answers to. And Jonathan, I wanted to see if you wanted to ask the first question by chance.
Yeah, so I mean, I learned so much. Thank you both for being here again, Brittany and Rebecca. One of the roles I have at our schools, I work with the alumni network. So I'm just already thinking, wow, we've never knew about some of these services that we would love to refer some of our alumni or current students over to. And so I love it. You did say resume help wasn't, I thought I caught that. You said resume help was something that you do. So alumni or current students, hint, hint. And then tutoring. I love that. A lot of our students feel like they have to do life alone in, trying to go for those post-secondary test preps. And so I just love that you guys offer tutoring and all that. Quick question. What would you say about that student who's like, hey, this kind of sounds real interesting to me. I don't know if I have the skill set. And that could be hard or soft skills that it takes. What would you say to them, or maybe you could share a little bit about your self-discovery when you were like, oh, this is what I want to do?
Do you want to start, Rebecca?
Yeah, I would say if it's something that you're really interested in, you can either volunteer at a library or, which is actually what I did when my kids were younger. I volunteered at libraries, and I've actually volunteered here in Fresno County for 6 years. And then when a part-time position came open, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Little side note, my kids actually went to you before you were you, back when you were Inspire. So my kids went there. But anyway, so we use the library a lot. But I would definitely say volunteer or get a position as like a part-time aide, a part-time librarian assistant, because it really does show you not exactly what it's like to be a librarian, but it gives you a really good idea if that's what you want to do.
I'll add to that too, like having worked in the library before I went to librarian school, really benefits you when you actually decide to do your master's degree. It gives you an edge over all the other students, and a lot of what you've already learned working in the library, you can just see that application as you're learning things in class. You're like, oh yeah, I got that. I know about that. And it makes school easier in that aspect, and homework assignments so much easier because you already have that firsthand knowledge. And I would definitely say there's something for everyone when it comes in the library, even working for the library. You don't have to be like really love art. Like for me personally, I love crafts, designing. And so I use those passions of mine to influence what programs I do. But you can take whatever you like and use that to create programs and services for your community. So if there's something like you wanted to learn how to do graphic design, or you want to learn how to do 3D printing, those are things I didn't know how to do, but I took it on as a task for my job, because I personally wanted to do it as well. But then I was able to teach teens how to do graphic design, or how to start in 3D printing and design. And so there's something for you here. I'd say definitely try it out. If you like working with children, doing story times, there's lots of crafts. One of our librarians, there was spaghetti all over the library because they were doing sensory play, and like it was everywhere. But they had fun. Or we have a poet. So we have the first poet laureate. He is a librarian with us. And so he obviously loves poetry. And so he would do poetry classes. You take your interest in your hobbies and you're able to really turn it into a career.
Love it. Blake, do you mind if I ask 2 follow-up questions?
Please.
That I have. Okay, so because Rebecca kind of talked on, she made a comment about volunteering. And so are there the first question I had is, are there ever volunteer or internship opportunities for the county library, which a lot of our students are in the local area? And then the other thing, I thought of the word tours. I'm like, I wonder if there's like, I don't know if you call it an official tour, but we get sometimes students who are like, I don't know where to help, and I've certainly referred them to like Career One Stop. But I think tours could be useful. So volunteer and internship opportunities for those students looking for that experience, are they there? And then do you guys offer like tours?
So I'll start with the volunteer, and then Rebecca, if you want to add more. So we're always accepting volunteers. We actually have a volunteer coordinator. His name is Chan. In just to help us out, this summer we definitely need volunteers. We do a ton of children's programs, a ton of teen programs, and we're signing up readers of all ages to participate in our summer challenge, which is reading and activities where they can earn a free book and then a really cool enamel pen, and really encourage just people of all ages to read. And we definitely need volunteers for that. But in general, throughout the year, we need volunteers, whether that's helping us shelf books, assisting with programs. We need volunteers, and we're always welcoming them.
Yeah, like I said, I was a volunteer, and my kids were all volunteers at the library. So lots and lots and lots of volunteer opportunities. We love our volunteers.
We can share a link to our volunteer application as well, so you guys can have that.
Love it.
And then
We'll go ahead and post it.
Remind us of the second question real quickly.
So it had to do with tours.
Tours, yes. Okay, so we can do 2 things. You can always schedule a tour with us if you wanted to do a larger group, or you can always go into the library and ask for a quick tour from our staff if they're able to do it. You're welcome to ask for the teen librarian to give you a tour. They're not always in that whatever branch you may be at that moment, because they usually manage anywhere from 3 to 8 libraries at a time. But we are always happy, to help and give a tour. But if you want something a little more structured and longer, we can do that as well.
Love it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys add mind readers to the list of things you guys can do there, because I was going to ask about that link for the volunteers. I will go ahead and once we get those from you, we'll put them up on the YouTube, when this recording goes up on our YouTube channel, we'll put it up there so if people can go in, if one of our students are interested, they can go ahead and just click that link and volunteer, as well as on our career fair website too. Because that's a really awesome opportunity. It sounds like there are volunteer opportunities all across the board with all kinds of programs. It seems like there's something for everybody in some capacity there. So wonderful. Jonathan, do you have any other questions at all? Or
I have a lot of questions, but I know we have we're getting ready to head into our 11 a.m. session. But I guess my last question would be, is it okay if sometimes our students aren't able to make it or staff aren't able to make it and they watch the recording and they go, oh, I have this question, this question, this question. Is it okay for either Blake or myself to reach out? We won't send like 15 students to you guys. What we'd probably do is like compile one list of questions, and then either he or I would reach out to you. Would that be okay in the days and in the weeks to come?
Oh yes, by all means. By all means, we'd love it.
Thank you so much. That's all I have. Blake, you want to take us out?
yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you both so much, Rebecca and Brittany, for coming on here and sharing all of the amazing things that there is about being a librarian. We really appreciate, again, all the information and your time taken out of your busy schedules to share all this wealth of information with our students. For all of our students watching, we'll see you hopefully in our next session at 11 o'clock for our next one. So again, thank you both so much. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Take care.